Do 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 do. Whiskey live or whiskey me live. Anyway, here I am. Hi everyone. Welcome to the last drop. I am Chris. Thank you for joining me. I don't think there is anyone in the chat, which is obviously a bit gutting, but never mind. We'll just chat anyway. It's Whisky Diary time. I'm going to discuss the whiskey show, which recently went to, and I'm also going to discuss Cut Your Wolf Loose, which is a new whiskey experience in Brighton, where I live. So yeah, I don't know whether everybody can hear me, but hopefully you can on the replay, because that's when you're all going to watch. So obviously hit that thumbs up and like button and subscribe and all that jazz just for missing the live. That's that's what you should do, just to make up for it, make it up to me for. So I'll start off with the whiskey show. So this was on the first weekend of October. Now I know this is the September Whisky Diary, but I thought it's fresh in my head and it's worth chatting about, really, isn't it? So whiskey show this year, I booked 2 days. So I booked the Saturday and the Sunday. Really looking forward to it. Saturday I was going with my father and my two brother-in-laws. It's their first time to the show. We were all super excited. We had went to the station, got a breakfast before we got on the train, rode up to London, then went and got a coffee, a nice pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, as you do, or as you should do, around this time of autumnal years. And yeah, then we joined the queue. About 10:30, I think we joined the queue, so about an hour to queue. We weren't too far back. This year, so I went 3 years ago, and we were queued on the roadside, whereas this year we were queued on the riverside, which was much better in my opinion. Really, really good. I don't know why they didn't last time. Maybe it was being done up. I'm not too sure. But yeah, good fun. Saw a couple of people in the queue. Great, because they come round about half an hour before the event really starts. They'll check all your tickets. We had to obviously have wristbands, so I had a wristband. I had a silver wristband, because I was booked for both days, and then a nice bright green COVID screened one. So you just had to show your QR code for the NHS app, so forth, or you print it out, all that, all those sort of things. But yeah, that was really good. It's great because then you just literally walk in when the doors open at 11:30, and yeah, fantastic. It was really good. We started off at the Paul John stand. I'm going to try and bring up all my photos here just so I can memory jog myself. So yeah, we started off at the Paul John stand. I'd obviously had pretty much all their core range, which was really good, and is really good. And Shilton was there. Shilton, the Paul John rep. Great guy. If you haven't met him before, really knowledgeable, obviously, with Paul John whiskey. Gave me a sneaky. Gave me the Kenya, which is based on. So Paul John are doing a thing with zodiac signs related to these whiskies. That was really, really good. He then gave me a sample of the Mithura as well. Again, really, really nice. I've never had a bad Paul John whiskey, to be honest. They've all been really, really the lower end stuff. So the Brilliance, the Edited, the Peated, they're all very, very safe, I guess. I mean, they're not going to set the world alight, but they're great, great whiskies, and worth having on your shelf, I guess. We then trickled over to Glen Scotia. So my family, who I went with on the Saturday, they hadn't had any whiskey from anywhere, really. Only the stuff that I've got and the samples I've given them. So literally, we're going there, getting all the great spiel off all the reps, and so forth on the stands, all the the history and all that sort of thing. So that was great going throughout the thing. Towards the end of the day, I think my brother-in-laws were a bit, drunk, is the word. So probably didn't take too much in, didn't try as much. Maybe not try as much, but maybe didn't appreciate some of the other stuff as much as I did. Glen Scotia, great whiskey. Campbelltown, all said and done. I didn't try their range, so it's weird because I've tried a lot of their stuff before. So I just had a glass of the Victoriana, which is a cracking whiskey. It really is good. Really, we do enjoy that one, and well worth going and checking out that one. We then moseyed on. I'm trying to speed through it because it was a long old day. Yamazaki. So I tried the Yamazaki 12. That was actually really quite subtle. I think after talking with Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide, his influence on me from that was that some Japanese whiskey gets a bit of incense going in there. I think I did detect it, definitely on the nose. Maybe came a bit more floral, but yeah, that was really good. Went on a few more stands, and for the life of me, I can't remember what they were. But we ended up on Glen Torre. Now with Glen Torre, I actually own a bottle of Glen Torre 12, the maiden release one. But it is in Germany. I haven't collected it yet, obviously with a pandemic and so forth. So actually I tried the Glen Torre 12 on the stand. That was really good. I'm really pleased I've got a bottle of that. Really, really tasty. And actually thinking about it now, the quality that is in there, from the spirit point of view, I think it's about 60 to maybe 70 quid was here, if you can get it. Around £60 actually is a really good whiskey to, quality wise, to get for that price, I thought. Yes, it's a 12-year-old. Yes, you can get 12-year-olds for 30 quid less than that, but the quality was absolutely there. Really, really good whiskey. I hope it comes out more, becomes a bit more available, and therefore maybe price bumps down to that £50 bonus mark that I can give it. Because yeah, that would be a honestly really, really good. One of the whiskies that impressed me the most, I think, out of the whole show. We then trundled down to Whistle Pig. So that was Whistle Pig. I think I ruffled maybe the feathers of the guy on there because I said that it's a bit expensive, or too expensive for me. I still feel that quality-wise, it's a bit. I don't know. The quality is there. It's a very good white rye whiskey. But yeah, it just maybe is 10, 20 pounds. There's no. I mean, they're bringing out one that's going to be, I think, £45. I remember a 6-year-old rye, but I mean, if you look at then Rittenhouse and Lot 40 Canadian rye whiskey, there's quite a few JP Wisers. They're coming in at below that Whistle Pig price, and their quality is pretty much the same. It was funny. So we really enjoyed it. My family really enjoyed it. But I actually thought, well, I took them up to the Stauning stand. So Stauning is a Danish whiskey producer, and they actually do a rye, which I got from Somerton Whiskey Club, and it was, it's obviously a cheaper price, around about £50, £60, so a bit less than the Whistle Pig, and I think quality-wise it's on par, and my family agreed, and they're complete novices with whiskey, so that I think they were like, okay, yeah, maybe that is a bit overpriced, but I don't know what you think. Maybe comment down below or in the chat. A Lost Guy 25, good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, if you've had any Whistle Pig experience. We then moseyed on upstairs, and I'll quickly glaze over this because we keep this quiet. the Artful Dodger Whiskey Company, so Seb, who's the owner, Seb the owner, they had an 8-year-old Bunnahabhain on there. Not released yet. I think maybe this week, next week, possibly. But watch this space for it. Best whiskey at the show. Like apparently it is in this weird sherry stroke vinegar cask. So it's a vinegar or a sherry. It's in between the two or something like that. Couldn't really get too much detail in my head about it. I was listening, but it went in and then just disappeared out. Whiskey happens, doesn't it? And yeah, it was fantastic. Just like, I mean, the cask influence was majorly there, but there was definitely the sort of light fruitiness you get. You know, that Bunnahabhain spirit was definitely there. Carried it really, really well. Excuse me. So yeah, best whiskey at the show. We then carried on down. We had New Zealand whiskey. So one of my brother-in-laws big on trying whiskey from around the world. Loves that sort of bit of it. So Cardrona, 2 single malts, just hatched and taking flight or growing wings. So one was very slightly younger, and one was, it's a play on words, so forth. Big old ABV, like 60-odd%, I think it was. Let me have a quick look. Yeah. 65.6%. Now, being the main whiskey drinker out of our group, I took a breath at the same time, and as you do, caught the back of my throat, and gone. Coughing, spluttering, dying almost. Really, really caught my throat, that one. But yeah, it was actually really nice, I think. But worth trying in the future, I guess. And now my phone stopped. Okay, brilliant. Technical issues this evening. Then we popped along to the whiskey show, or the whiskey exchange stand, I guess. So they had the show bottlings this year. 25-year-old Ben Nevis. Oh, that was nice. Met Jason Whiskey-wise. Big up to Jason. Thank you for indulging my family and giving us spirits. But yeah, fantastic labels on them. So cartoon-based. Really, really nice. And some great whiskies in there too. We then trundled all the way downstairs and found the lunch. This was actually really good. Obviously, due to the pandemic, COVID, all that stuff, it came in boxes. So it wasn't as sort of a buffet style that previously happened. But good quality food. I mean, you couldn't argue with it. I had an issue with the fork. My wooden fork broke, so I had to use my fingers. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't, it was really, really good. Pork belly I had with some potatoes. Loads of food in there, to be honest. Really, really good. And the dessert was just like a milfoy, creamy, raspberries and stuffed chocolate on there. Yeah, really good, solid dessert. Couldn't argue with the food quality. All the other guys had fish. They said that sea bass was really nice as well. I probably would have tried the sea bass the next day, but that's a different story. Then where did we headed upstairs, and my brother-in-law just declared at lunch, I think, that I only like peated whiskey, which is funny, isn't it? But sometimes the other way around. So we went to Lefroy, some of the peatiest you can get, and I had the sherry oak finish. I'm sure there's a sherry barrel, like a full sherry maturation. The finish, I didn't think was that. There was a sweeter element to it, but I wouldn't say it was anything, mind blowing or anything like that. It did seem a bit, it just seemed fine, really, at the end of the day. So yeah, that was good. And I also tried the 10-year-old cask strength. Again, that was just, a big up of the standard 10. And I do like the standard 10. I must get another bottle of the standard 10 because, yeah, my dad's got a bottle. And yeah, we had it on a little afternoon, little tipple of that. And it's cracking. It's a cracking jam. Then we headed over to Chichibu. So if you don't know Chichibu, it's a Japanese distiller. Ichiro, guy over there, and yeah, I went to the guy. I've heard so much. There's so much hype around Chichibu. It sells out. It's like a Bimba inaugural releases and stuff like that, isn't it? Or other inaugural releases. Any Chichibu comes out is gone. So I was like, impressed me really. So pulled out the double distilleries, which was alright, but it didn't impress me much. But then I think we just sort of swayed away from there because it didn't go out, and it was a busy stand, so the guy wasn't too. He didn't have enough time to really sell it to me, to be honest. So that was never mind, but at least I tried it. We then went to the Glengoyne Smokehead Tamdu stand, where I tried the Tamdu cask strength or batch strength, and that was really, really good. Yeah, lovely toffee, big toffee, casky strengthy, nice, good stuff. Then sort of it starts to get blurry, doesn't it? And I've taken pictures, and the whiskies were pretty good. I had the Cavalan Solist in cask strength in the bourbon. That was really good. Then we had some Lot 40. My dad tried the Pike Creek, and I tried the Lot 40. We had a nice little chat with the rep on there. Unfortunately, we only had 2 whiskies there. Other whiskies got held up in customs, so they couldn't come through. A bit disappointing because the Dark Oak I think was released, and that would have been really nice to try. But unfortunately, sort of customs, good old customs, eh? But yeah, great chat. Lovely. The flavour wheels up, all that sort of thing. All the chemical elements that Dr. Don Livermore has, done in his PhD and so forth. Fantastic information and really geeky, all that sort of stuff going on. So that was cool. They went up to Secret Speyside stand. Now, quite a few people have been on about that. I think they were some of the drams of the day. H2O. So yeah, Braes of Glenlivet. 25-year-old on there, just for free pour, no like dream dram or anything like that. Great whiskey. 25-year-old Glen Keith. Again, really, really nice. And yeah, I think we tried maybe an Aberlour on there. I don't think I tried the Aberlour. I think my dad tried the Aberlour Bunda. But I did not. So yeah, but the Secret Speyside, I think there was a 21-year-old Glen Keith as well. Both, I mean, fantastic whiskies. We then made our way upstairs because this is getting really late in the day now. So it was about 5. It was getting towards the last pour anyway. So we had some Balcones, this single Texas malt. That was really nice actually. They didn't have any baby blue or true blue, which is maybe a bit disappointing because I'd like to try the true blue again. But yeah, that was good. They then also had Abasolo, so the Mexican corn whiskey or Mexican heritage corn whiskey. That was really good. Really did enjoy that actually. Yeah, interesting. Definitely like that big popcorn notes going on and so forth. But yeah, that was great whiskey. But for Mexico. I mean, you wouldn't have. Well, you would think it. I mean, corn and Mexico goes hand in hand, doesn't it? But maybe there should be more of it rather than tequila. We then had the Morris Australian whiskey up there as well. So that was single malt Australian whiskey. So this one is for Andrew from Prestige Liquids. Hopefully he's tried it, or maybe if he hasn't, he would, seek it out, because these are apparently the only 2 bottles in the UK. So unless somebody brought it back from Oz, but I don't think so. During the old pandemic and so forth. So yeah, they were both nice. A Muscat barrel finish as well. So they've got a lot of wine casks, obviously, in Australia. So I think that's the way to go for their whiskey, to be honest. And that was pretty much it. So I mean, yeah, whiskey show. That was the Saturday. Now I was supposed to attend on Sunday. I had a great plan, and I'll tell you what this plan was. So, there's the Oswers. So if you're not aware, the online Scotch Whisky Awards, the brainchild of Roy and Ralphie. How could I forget Ralphie? Just looking at the chat. Lost Guy 25. Did you try Lidl's Queen Margot 8-year-old? I haven't tried Lidl's whiskey yet. I know I should, because I think it's pretty reasonable, isn't it? So, but I never go to Lidl. My wife does, but yeah, every day if I told her what to buy, there'd be issues, wouldn't there? Buy me this, buy me that, but never mind. But yeah, whiskey show. So online Scotch Whisky Awards. Ralphie and Roy. Now I haven't tried all the whiskies on the lists that they produce for all the different awards. So what I was going to do is I got the list. I wrote out all the ones I haven't tried for each of the categories. I was going to go with that list. I was going to go there with my camera, and I was going to film me trying all these whiskies. I thought it would have been a great whiskey video to see, somebody trying the whiskies to, present a video which is in relation to these guys. We're online, we're speaking about whiskey, and great to see some guy going there with a plan and with the list, and then to be able to make a proper informed decision on what whiskey should win these awards. I thought it was great, and that was my plan. That was great. And I mean, have you seen the video yet? No, because it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because I got food poisoning. My son got food poisoning, my wife got food poisoning, my mother-in-law got food poisoning, and my sister-in-law got food poisoning. So we were all, not well. My sister-in-law and mother-in-law were not well on Saturday. Luckily, I was fine on Saturday, but then the rest of us were all ill on Sunday. We possibly think it was our meal that we had Friday night, on the day before. But yeah, that was pretty gutting. So that ruined, well, not ruined, but obviously I lost out on a train ticket, and I lost out on my second day ticket of the whiskey show, and again, yeah, really disappointing. Yeah, it was a damn shame. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, gutting. But never mind. Never mind. Onwards and upwards, as they say, and so forth. I still had a great day on Saturday. And the whiskey show is definitely something that you should go to, because it's, even if it's just one day, fantastic show. And definitely worth doing. Old and rare, I'd maybe give it a miss unless you're pretty rich and really into your old and rare drams, but that's not for me. I did try it like 2 weeks before the original lockdown, but that was cool. But yeah, whiskey show, go. So next up, I'm going to talk about cut your wolf loose. So in Brighton, there's a new whiskey, really a bar. I'd say whiskey experience. So it's owned by Seb Wolf, who is the Wolf Drinks owner, who owns Artful Dodger and a couple of other ventures in spirits. He's built it with a guy called Lee, who's the general manager there. It's his sort of brainchild, and that they were talking about over a drunken evening. Seb's helped him make it fruition. Great. I went there with Swag, so the Sussex Whisky Appreciation Group. Great. 7 of us, 8 of us, descended on the Cut Your Wolf Loose. But great. You walk in, you've got whiskies on your right, whiskies on your left, all locked up nicely. You can get an individual dram of each one of them. I believe at some point, once stocks have been sorted and so forth, that you can buy a bottle of each, like full bottle, after you try maybe. Definitely some of them, especially their sort of first bottling as well, which is a 10-year-old Williamson, which is Lefroy, which has been finished in a red wine cask, I believe. Memory serves me. Great label on it. So Seb and Lee are getting local street artists in to do. They've got a little courtyard out the back, and it's got this fantastic sort of mural on the wall. So that mural is going to change every time they release a bottle for sale. So this one was done by Snub23. So this is cool robot-looking guy on the wall, and then that image is then on the label. So when they change the wall, there's going to be a new release. That picture's going to be on the label as well. So that's really cool. They got some really nice, interesting whiskies in there. They do like their bourbon stuff as well. So that's got great stuff in there. Like a 13-year-old Dickel in there. Some really old some old Bunners, some young Bunners, there was a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old Bunner at like 65%, something like that. That was a beast. But yeah, great. I mean, we didn't spend much. We didn't have a lot really. We had, I bought like a dram and a beer, and then we went. There's a basement as well, so we all just went down there. We were just chatting, talking, trying the drams, just sipping on a beer. It made the time go a bit longer, so just a whiskey and a chaser as such. But really, really great little whiskey experience. The guys in there, the Lee. Paul? Forgive me, Paul, if it's not Paul. Vivian, and obviously Seb. Some great. They know their whiskey stuff. They're really enthusiastic about it. They're happy to tell you anything about bottles, anything about the whiskies, where it comes from, who it is, what it does, how much it is, all that sort of thing. Really, really good experience, a good whiskey experience, which I think is needed in the south, really, because you've got Milroy's and whiskey exchange shops and so forth in London. The new Melody Bar, they've got great whiskey selection that you can go to and taste all these great whiskey, like strange, like 14-year-old Kilkerrans, I think I tried when I was there, and stuff like that. A really, really good experience. And I think for Brighton, it's a great destination. Lots of people come down. I think they've been busy. They've had a McMira tasting in there. I believe the New Zealand whiskey that was up in Whisky Show, Cardrona. They were down there at least presenting their wares to the guys. to see if they could stock it, I guess. But yeah, really good. I mean, really nice stuff, to be honest. And a great experience. We ended up in the Great Eastern, which is just down the road, for some proper beer, proper pints. But yeah, fantastic stuff. I mean, it's really pleasing. I think like the cut your wolf loose and swag. I think so. There's going to be a lot more Sussex appreciation, especially the guys in Brighton. I can see us meeting up there quite a bit. Once maybe, I mean, obviously COVID's died down a bit now, but we'll see how winter goes. Frost, touch wood, so forth. That it'll be okay. But yeah, cut your wolf loose. Fantastic whiskey experience in Brighton, and I do suggest you go and check it out if you're ever in town. Whew. So yeah. So, thanks for keeping with me. If you're in the chat, really appreciate it. So let's go. I did have a tasting, but September was. The reason I talked about the whiskey shows is September is a bit dire, to be honest, with regards to trying whiskey. I didn't try much at all. In fact, I didn't have any tastings or anything like that. So I raided my shelf of samples. These were all from VinPF, from No Nonsense Whiskey. Check him out on YouTube if you haven't. Subscribe, all that jazz. So yeah, second of the ninth. So we'll start on the old Whisky Diary now. He sent me some boutique whiskey stuff. So my throat's going funny now, which is always cool. So that boutique whiskey company, 41.6%, a world whiskey blend. So this was fruity, grassy, had green apples in there, very fresh, really nice actually. The taste was pretty much the same, but with a bit of toffee. So that was really good. The problem with boutique is I think the 50 centilitre bottles, but I've never bought one. In fact, I've had one bought for me, and that was a 921 distillery, which is a distillery in Colorado. So this was a rye spirit. So it wasn't even old enough to be called a whiskey. It was 11 months old rye. Just blew my mind. That was fantastic. That was a Christmas present from my brother-in-law. But yeah, that was really good stuff. Really good. 7.5 out of 10. Then up was the Heroes and Heretics. The 48 blend. Oh, excuse me. The 48 blend. This was a 10-year-old. So this had butterscotch, red apples. There was cherry in there. It was quite sweet. Yeah, it was pretty reasonable. 7.5 out of 10 again. Would I buy it? Probably not. Then was the Disciples Craig Ellicky, 12-year-old Craig Ellicky. I think probably my first Craig Ellicky. So that was really cool. 51%, so big boy. Fruity, sherry, punchy. Definitely a punchy ABV on there. Lots of vanillas going on as well. 8 out of 10. So yeah, that was pretty much all the new whiskey I tried. I did have a tasting this week. So cut you off loose. And then there was one more that I did get, which I will show you on screen. I was happy enough, or good enough, to get hold of the latest Springbank 12 cask strength. So this comes in at 55.9%. I'm in fact going to pour myself a little dram. Lovely. That'll be strong old stuff. But yeah, if you're in the local area, in Brighton area, then you're probably aware of a town called Lewes. Lewes is just up the road, and predominantly in Lewes they have a brewery, called Harvey's. It's probably quite famous. You know, it's quite accessible around the world. Definitely in the southeast of England. And although you probably can, they can stuff now, so they might be sending it around the world. Who knows? But yeah, so they are in fact a main distributor, or a distributor, an official distributor for Springbank. And yeah, if you're in a local, if you're aware of the releases, you can drop them a phone call or an email. They'll tell you what's coming in, tell you what's available, and they'll let you reserve it. The good thing about it is that they don't do online sales of their whiskey, so you're literally local. So it's get that local experience. You're supporting that business. Harvey's, I've drunk far too much Harvey's in my time. I used to play rugby for Lewis Rugby Club, and nearly 20 seasons. So yeah, done a lot of that over the years. So yeah, it's in my blood, Harvey's, I think. But yeah, so you can reserve it. They had Kilkerran 16 in, Kilkerran 12, Springbank 10, Springbank 15, the Long Row 18, the new Long Row 18, and the standard Long Row as well. I don't know what the stock situation is at the moment, but if I'm back up there in a couple of weeks' time, I might pop in and see what they got. Get another sneaky bottle. Don't tell the wife. But yeah, fantastic stuff this is. What have I written on my notes? So it's a bit floral and woody on the nose. Yeah, some vanillas, toffees, and there's a little bit of smoke. But it's not heavy at all. Very, very light whiff at the end. Maybe a bit salty too from that sea air. Lovely. So this one has 100% bourbon barrel as well. So the last one, I in fact got one from last year at the same shop, and that was obviously heavily sherried. I think it was 60 or even 70% sherried if serves. That's really great, but that's very much a sherry bomb as such. That dirtiness, I mean, that's actually comes. That Campbelltown funk comes through really nice on this. I'm really getting more into just bourbon cask whiskey at the moment, which is quite interesting on my journey. I'm really liking. Although saying that, I've got 2 bottles of Somerton Whisky Club at the moment. The Glasgow, which I think was the Christmas bottle last year. And then the English, which was last month before's, and both really sort of young-ish. I mean, I think the 6-year-old whiskey in this one, George's Distillery. Yeah, they're very heavy vanillaed, so heavy charred, so sort of almost virgin cask maybe. I don't know, but they're not as. This probably second or third fill barrel maybe. So maybe they're probably first fills. But this Springbank 12 cask strength, 100% bourbon barrel just comes across really, really nice. That sort of Campbelltown funk comes through. That's great. But yeah, the ex bourbon barrel really helps you highlight their spirit, and I really, really enjoy it. Lovely stuff. And for that, I gave it 9 out of 10. So excuse the fridge noise. Open the fridge. Got a pizza in there. No? Oh, got him. Good towing away. So yeah, brilliant. Whiskey show was great. Cut Your Wolf Loose was was cool as well. So a couple of really good events over the past sort of 3-4 weeks. Looking forward. I've had one tasting this month already, Dingle, which was very impressive. And yeah, we've got this next Summerton release coming end of this week, I think. Memory serves me. So that'd be interesting. From a country nobody's had, but he's not sent out before, so could be something German, could be something South African, Canadian maybe? I don't know whether he's a Canadian. He's been sneaky and got hold of all that Lot 40 dark oak. That'd be interesting. I don't think he would have, but that would be cool. Maybe some Aussie whiskey, maybe some Starwood, maybe I don't know. But yeah, looking forward to that. So that'd be a nice surprise. And then yeah, there's Rum Show this weekend coming up. If you haven't seen that, that's worth checking out. I mean, the tickets are still available. That's a great show to go and see. To really, even to like speak to the Foursquare guys or the Mount Gay, and some of the other sort of bloggers and vloggers that are there. Rum Pirate, Ian Burrell, who was on Channel 4 all the time doing his rum stuff, rum cocktails and the like. He does the whole sort of presenting of it, arranging of it. It's his show basically, and that's really good. Great advocate for rum. Again, went years ago and that was fantastic. But yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and then maybe a big surprise in November. That'd be cool. Probably won't film it. Want to experience it, but yeah, end of November, something whiskey related coming up there that should be good. But yeah, so that'd be it. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. I will definitely give the Queen Margot 8-year-old Scotch a go. I have heard good things about it. A few guys, Neil from the Whiskey Trials, he definitely has mentioned it a few times. I think he's done a review on it. Again, memory serves. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, with that being said, thank you. Please hit the thumbs up. If you're watching on the replay, yeah, give me that thumbs up. And then hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Would really appreciate it. It does help, and I'm close to 500 subs, so come on, I've like 19 more to go. So that was at the time of filming. So that's cool. So yeah, thank you for joining me. Really appreciate Lost Guy 25. I can't remember what your name is. Sorry. I'm horrible person for saying that. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Appreciate your all. I hope you stay safe. Try some good, decent whiskey in the next coming month, and I will see you then. Maybe a bit more organised and present the stream a bit maybe in a week, so maybe on a Sunday evening. Sunday evening seems like a good day to do a stream, so we'll see that for for October's Whisky Diary. And thank you very much. Catch you next month.